Who is Sadie Weiss, right? And just kind of what led you to the school board?
Absolutely. I am a social worker, and when I moved back to St. Louis, I wanted to do something for a city that I love. I grew up here and care a lot about St. Louis. Wanted to contribute to positive social change here in the city, and my background is in social work, education, and so felt like the Board of Education was the place for me to contribute and try to help make a difference for students here.
And do you feel like you've accomplished a bit of some of those goals?
I feel good about some of the things that I was able to do, but I am sorry that I couldn't do more.
I get it.
Yeah.
Let's talk about accomplishments or successes, wins that you've seen in the district.
Sure, I think we have some incredible educators in the district. So we have teachers and staff who are working so hard every day to make sure that students have what they need to be successful. So that's just been a real privilege and joy to see that work.
I get it, yeah. It's been a bit of a rocky year or so for SLPS. And I think the board was tasked with probably making some difficult decisions of late, including from the top, the superintendent, who you brought on.
Right.
Were you concerned? Were you, I guess, asking questions during that process?
Yeah, I came in at an interesting time. So I came in after that decision had already been made to hire Dr. Scarlett, and was on the board just for a few months before she started. And so I do feel like from the beginning I wasn't included in that transition process for Dr. Scarlett. And so I did have concerns about that, and I felt like I wasn't being given the information I needed maybe to even ask more questions.
Concerned about the hire in general, or?
No, just concerns about, just any concerns I had related to what was going on in the
So
district.
you would ask questions and you felt like maybe you weren't getting answers?
I feel like, yeah, when I asked questions, it was often met with criticism.
Being a part of any board is really, when you think about it, when it comes to success of an operation, you think of a team atmosphere, right? Everyone working in tandem, everyone bringing their own strengths, but really working as a team for the overall good.
Right.
Is that how you felt being a part of this board?
No, I said this multiple times throughout my time on the board that I felt like it was more of a 2-person board than a 7-person board.
We know there's a president of the board. Is there a vice president? Are those the two you're referring to?
Correct.
Got it. Got it. And so what did you hear from other colleagues outside of those two? Do you feel like others felt like you did? And you can't speak for them, but were there conversations with others?
Yes, some conversations were had with other members, but it didn't feel like we could, it didn't feel like our conversations were necessarily moving the needle or getting us anywhere.
I get it. Which is, I can imagine, probably a bit frustrating when you were elected, your people brought you on to represent them, and you're trying.
Yeah, it was disheartening. Absolutely. I really wanted to do the best I possibly could, but felt like the conditions weren't set for me to be able to do that.
What were your questions? What were you concerned about?
Sure. I'll just mention my biggest concern as of late, which was the charges on the board secretary's credit card. Those transactions were made public, and I asked for documentation to provide justification for the charges. I wanted to ensure that money that was being spent on the board secretary's card were relevant and necessary for the Board of Education. And I received a response just asking for clarification around my question, and I provided that clarification and stated my question again and received no response.
It would appear that any reasonable leader or board member in charge of oversight would be asking those questions.
You would think.
So let me ask you this. Are we talking something separate from what came out in the news about the superintendent spending? Is that the same as the board secretary credit card?
This is the credit card that has the name of the board secretary on that card, associated with that card.
We did a report about spending from the superintendent, which raised some alarm when it came to different spending, Bath and Body Works, hotels, trips, that type of thing.
Sure.
Similar concerns here?
Similar concerns, a lot of Amazon purchases, some hotel purchases, flight upgrades, restaurant expenses, yes.
So what was the resistance you were met with? Was it, okay, we're looking into it, or was it go away in so many words?
It felt like they were okay to not continue to have that conversation.
So then when did you make the decision that maybe I shouldn't do this?
I was shortly after that. That was the final straw for me. Yeah.
Weeks ago? Days?
December.
How did that feel yesterday? Because I think you saw the Matt Davis, right when you were done, kind of had a surprised look on his face. It seemed that maybe to some people it was a surprise.
Yeah, I think it was. I think it was a surprise, but it was something I felt like I needed to do. I couldn't attach my name anymore to something that I felt like wasn't doing right by the district.
In addition to the spending on the credit card, you mentioned some other things yesterday. You said board behavior, board members stepping outside of their bounds, getting involved in district operations. Can you elaborate?
Sure. There were times where board leadership would mention that they had gone to talk to different people, or had spoken with this person in this department, or had gone to this school and spoke with these administrators, multiple examples, and the board wasn't aware of these activities taking place. We weren't informed beforehand, and to me that felt like that was an overstep into the operations of the district versus governance of the district.
Whereas, what should appropriate leadership look like in your opinion? For instance, if I am a board member and I am concerned or want to make a rapport with school staff, how should I go about doing that?
As a board member, I think it's important to address concerns with the full board. The board's job is governance, so it's really not about the day-to-day operations. That is the superintendent's job, and our job is oversight. So concerns can be brought to the board, concerns can be brought to the superintendent, but really we should be focused on the tone of the district, the direction that the district is going.
What are your hopes and perhaps even advice to incoming board members who will soon be elected, and to the board that will still be in place, the members that will return? Advice?
Absolutely. Ask lots of questions, and don't let up. I think that's a really important role, or a really important job of board members, is to ask those tough questions.
I think some might say, if what you're saying is completely accurate, right? I believe some people might say, well, Ms. Weiss is doing what we need her to do. She's, raising a critical eye when she sees the need, and so why not keep at it?
Yeah. felt like at this point I had tried, so I had called for a board evaluation. I called for that a couple of times, and we finally had a meeting to talk about how we were doing as a board. And I didn't feel like that was a productive meeting. And so it came to a point where I realized that me pushing wasn't doing anything. I felt like I was stuck and that I wasn't able to contribute in the way that I wanted to.
What's it going to take, you think, other than asking questions?
Yeah.
What would it take for a cohesive board to make progress for St. Louis schools?
Absolutely. It's going to take a team truly focused on governance, understanding what governance means, implementing strategy for the district, having conversations about the future of this district, and what's realistic for the district, while thinking about what's best for all students in the city of St. Louis.
Did the board make the right call with the decision about the superintendent?
I think so.
Yeah. How is Ms. Borshade doing?
I'd rather not comment.
Sure.
Yeah.
Is the future bright?
I have hope for the future of SLPS.
Yeah.
I do.
And you're done now.
I am.
You got up and walked.
I did.
Yeah. Any regrets?
No, I don't have any regrets.